was gonna like joke around and wear a cowboy hat for this, but I look really bad in a cowboy hat. And I don't think this one fits me. Oh. I actually don't look bad. I do look bad. I take that back. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have some book recommendations for you. Today it's kind of, she's got a book for every situation. I have 11 different specific either tropes or scenarios or vibes that I have written down in my notes app, and I have an indie book rec for every single one of those. Majority of the books that I read are by independent authors. All of these are also free on Kindle Unlimited. If you don't have Kindle Unlimited, I recommend it. If you read a lot, I recommend it. I read a lot, so it makes sense for me. But if you're reading like 1 to 2 books a month, maybe you don't need it. I don't know. So I have beach read recommendation, Mafia, Brother's Best Friend, Spicy, Second Chance, interconnected series of tomfoolery. I don't know why I wrote that like that, but we're just gonna go with it. Marriage of Convenience, Age Gap, and Slow Burn. The first one we have, I actually own. My beach read recommendation is Our Scorching Summer by Kels and Denise. If you're going to the beach and you want a book to read on the beach, this is perfect. If you're wanting beachy summer vibes, this is perfect. The tropes in this book are friends to lovers. You know, I actually don't know if this is a trope, but he's really rich and she is very much not rich. But it's not weird. It's not like he takes pity on her or anything. Actually, I take that back. The main characters in this book are Lily and Nico. There's a lot of tension between Lily and Nico, but they're not doing anything about it for a really long time, and they have plans to just remain friends even though that tension is there, because Nico's brother is married to Lily's best friend. So technically, if they f anything up in their relationship, they're gonna see each other till the end of time. Or until those two people get divorced, okay? So they're like, we're just gonna be friends. Nico, like I said, he's a rich boy. He like did something in tech, sold something, made a lot of money, doesn't technically have to work, does work, smart man. He's going and traveling for the summer and he wants Lily to come with him. And he's like, you need to let loose, you just lost your job, you don't start school for a while, come travel with me. And she's like, I can't afford to travel with you. And he's like, well, no worries, I have a plane ticket. An extra one that my buddy was supposed to take, and you can use it. A free plane ticket. He bought the plane ticket. He wanted her to travel with him, so he lied and bought the plane ticket for her. She ends up going. What do we think is gonna come from that, Lily and Nico? What do we think is going to come out of that? Forced proximity a little bit. They do have separate bedrooms, but forced proximity a little bit. This is a really fun read. The spice was also really good in this book. Really good beach read, okay? If you're looking for slow burn, the queen of slow burn herself, you've probably seen this book recommendation before. This like went viral on TikTok a couple years ago, but we're bringing it back, okay? If you're wanting a slow burn romance book, From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata. Me and Mariana, we got a thing going on. From Lukov with Love, this is an ice skating enemies to lovers slow burn romance. It's one of those books where she thinks they're enemies, but he's kind of obsessed with her. In this book, the two main characters are Ivan and Jasmine, and they're both ice skaters. They both need a skating partner to compete in, I don't know what they're competing in, I don't remember. But they have to like become partners to compete for something in ice skating, okay? I know they eventually go to the Olympics, whatever. I don't know the technicalities of ice skating. They're enemies and they have to become partners. Oh, forced proximity, forced proximity. His nickname for her is Meatball. Why is that so cute? And it's literally Meatball. If a man called me Meatball, well, after reading this book, I'd be like, that's me. He calls her Meatball, and she thinks it's like supposed to be an insult, but I think it's kind of endearing. Oh, I will say, when I say slow burn, I mean like they kiss probably the last chapter of the book. So if you're wanting slow burn, you asked for it. You asked for it, okay? Next, we have Mafia, Perfectly Imperfect series. Someone recommended me this book on TikTok earlier this year when I was like, I need a single dad romance where the dad is morally gray and he would do anything for his kid. And someone was like, the first book in the series, in the Perfectly Imperfect series, you should give it a shot. It's a fun book series, okay? This is no literary masterpiece. Okay, let's get that straight first, because I don't want someone to read it and they're like, what, Heather? I'm like, oh, hey, yeah, so did I mention it's fun? It's fun. You're supposed to have fun with it, okay? So go have fun. The first book in the series, the guy's a single dad. I don't remember any of the characters' names throughout this entire like 6-book series. I believe it's ongoing. They're all kind of interconnected. All of the men are a little, like if we saw this in real life, we'd be like, run. But in fiction, we're like, ah! Ah, he killed somebody! He offed somebody! Ah! That's so hot! Yeah, it's that type of series. And I believe every single book kind of has a different trope in it. So like the first book, it was kind of more grumpy sunshine and single dad. The second book, I think it might have been arranged marriage. Each book kind of touches on a different trope, if you will, while all of it being Mafia. Next we have Brother's Best Friend. I love Brother's Best Friend. I love Brother's Best Friend because I got a brother and a girl can be delusional and dream. Done and dusted. I'm pretty sure I just talked about this book in my June reading wrap up or something like that. Might I recommend you? Done and dusted. This book was so fun. Emmy and Luke are the main characters. Emmy hasn't lived in her small town that she grew up in for a while. She's a famous barrel racer, I'm pretty sure. Things start going a little wrong in her life, and so she just like randomly out of nowhere moves back to her small town. And when she gets to her small town, she runs into none other than her brother's best friend, Luke Brooks, who owns the bar in town and who has suddenly gotten his life together. And she looks at him and she's like, you're probably still a shithead. Like, you probably haven't, like, she doesn't expect him to have his life together. And not that he's perfect or anything, but the man, like, he knows what he's doing now. I mean, it's been years. He's not a teenage boy anymore. He's a man. And she's like, he's a man. And he's hot. Meanwhile, it's dual POV. Luke is over here like, oh my God, that's Emmy. And what are these feelings I'm feeling for her? I've never felt this way before. Why am I obsessed with her? And I'm like, ah! This is a great book. This is really fun. It's going to be an ongoing series as well. And I can't wait for the next books. We love Brother's Best Friend. We all who have brothers who are hopelessly alone are hoping for a brother's best friend situation. This next book rec that I have is age gap. That is kind of the trope that we're focusing on, but it's a bonus. It's also brother's best friend, and it's a false start by Elsie Silver. This series, the entire Gold Rush Ranch series by Elsie Silver, was the first series I read from her. Like, I read this before I read the Chestnut Spring series. This is good. If you haven't read this entire series, I recommend it. This one specifically, when I say age gap, I mean like it's an 11-year age gap, but it works. And it's her brother's best friend. This was also a little bit of a grumpy sunshine situation. Griffin, the guy, he is such a grump. Like, such a grump. But when he sees Nadia, like, obviously he fights off his feelings for majority of the book because of the age gap and it being like his best friend's little sister. And mind you, his best friend is his age. So it's like, me putting myself in Griffin's brain, I could just imagine him being like, this can't happen. This cannot be a thing at all. But then he's like, why do I feel this way for this girl? Next we have another series, and this is my interconnected series of tomfoolery. Why I worded it that way, I have no freaking clue. But my recommendation for this is the Bootleg Spring series by Claire Kingsley and Lucy Score. If you want a fun, lighthearted rom-com series that is kind of based in a small town, I read the series last year for the first time and it was so much fun. It's so mindless, easy to read. The characters are really easy to fall in love with. And the thing I liked most about it is alongside the like rom-com aspects happening in the book, there's also like a crime going on and it escalates in each book and it's like unraveling and unpacking in each book. So while you're focusing on two people falling in love, you're also, there's a murder and a missing person, potential murder. That's all I'm gonna say. But it's intriguing and it makes the series, in my opinion, like even more fun to read. Next we have a second chance romance book. And the thing is with the one I'm about to recommend to you is the reviews on this are no one likes this book. Or at least no one loves it. They kind of tolerate it. So just know that I loved it. And I think I actually rated it 5 stars. Because I loved it so much. Garnet Flats by Devney Perry. This is the 3rd book in the Eden's interconnected like standalone small town series. It's like based in Montana. Everybody I have spoken to, I'm not even kidding, doesn't like this book. So you may hate it. I don't care. I liked it. The main characters in this book are Foster and Talia. Foster is like an MMA fighter. Let me fact check. He's a fighter. I don't know what type of fighter he is. They met when I believe Talia was in college and they dated and he like broke her heart. Broke her heart and started dating and got married to like her best friend or something. There's a story there, okay? I know you all just gasped and were like, what the f? Okay. 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 Give him a chance. Okay, so he comes back into her life. He goes back to Quincy, Montana, where she lives, where she's a doctor. She's kind of finally gotten her shit together, kind of starting, like, I would say she's moved on, finally. He comes in and he's like, hi. And she's like, goodbye. Get out of here. And he's like, hold on. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hi. And she's like, there's the door. You there, get out. Needless to say, it doesn't go well for a while. And the man is groveling and fighting for his life. And then there are a few plot twists throughout the middle of it where you're like, what the f? Not like big plot twists that are like crazy to the storyline, but a few things that pop up in his life where you're like, how are we gonna forgive this man? What is going on? But obviously it's a romance book and obviously she forgives him, but like you just gotta read it and find out. I liked it. Next we have Marriage of Convenience, and my recommendation for this is My Dark Romeo by LJ Shen and Parker S. Huntington. I believe that's the other author. The 2 main characters in My Dark Romeo are Dallas, the FMC, and you guessed it, his name is Romeo. Okay. Hear me out. It's fun. It's a fun read. It's a fun read, okay? I will say the first interaction between Dallas and Romeo, this is the way his name is, Romeo. The first interaction between them, you're like, what? Really? Dallas is like a sheltered Southern girl. And when I say sheltered Southern girl, I mean like deep South. What was it? Like Alabama or Georgia, somewhere she's from. And if you know deep South sheltered Southern girl who comes from very wealthy family and she probably has a cotillion and stuff like that, it is a whole other world. And then this man comes in and their first interaction, I was like, oh my God, he did not just do that to her. I'm from the South, I'm not from the deep South. I wasn't raised the same way Dallas was. However, I know a ton of people that were. And I know that what happened at the beginning of that book would ruin my friends, not my friends, my people I know of. Ruin them. And they would let it ruin them. But then they get married. Yay! And it is not going well. I will say, like the day after their wedding, he's not paying any attention to Dallas. And so she goes and takes his credit card and spends a ton of money and go shopping. Proud of her. One of the scenes I do remember in this book that is just cute, and maybe it'll get you to read it, is he comes and bothers her when she's in the bookstore one day and he's like, we gotta go do this thing. And every single book that she touched in the bookstore but that she didn't have time to buy, he like bought it for her later on. And like gave them to her. Was like, here are these books. because she didn't have time to buy them because he was like, we gotta go. Okay, we have 2 more. We have spicy next. There's a lot of different tropes in the spicy one, but the main focal point of this is it is spicy as hell, and it is Minx by Sophie Lark. 2 main characters are Blake and Ramsey. Ramsey is, well, actually, the names are both kind of unisex names. Ramsey is the MMC, Blake is the FMC. Blake is a sex worker. She only takes 3 clients at a time, and they're all 3 always like wealthy men of Wall Street that she's working for. So this girl is like making bank for herself, and go off, girl. Ramsey is like one of the wealthiest men on Wall Street, and when he sees her, he's like, I have to have her. And so he tries to buy out like all 3 of her spots, and she's like, I don't just see 1 client. I don't do that. And he's like, let me buy all 3 spots. I want to be your only client. And she's like, I don't do that. The thing I love the most about Sophie Lark's characters is they're always like intelligent people. And that's another reason why I loved Blake and Ramsey so much. The last indie book rec that I have is, okay, it's considered enemies to lovers, but I would say it's more dislike to lovers, but I'm gonna recommend it as an enemies to lovers book anyway, so just know they're not like cutting each other's throats in this book, okay? It's a fun read, and it is the 60-40 rule. This book is kind of like from Lukov with Love, where the FMC like thinks they're enemies, and the MMC is giving off vibes as if they are, and as if they don't like each other. However, he is obsessed with her. The main characters in this book are Jude and Theo, and it's kind of a workplace romance book. Jude is a designer, and she ends up designing a restaurant for Theo because Theo cooks and cooks well. Yes, chef. Yes, chef. Theo needs a restaurant design, and so Jude is on the team to design it for him, meaning there's a little bit of forced proximity there. Oh my god. There is literally forced proximity there. I forgot that they get stranded and they have to stay in the same hotel room because they have to travel to look at, what was it, granite or something for the kitchen. They had to travel to go look at something that was going to be in the design for the restaurant, and a huge storm hits or traffic hits or something happens, and they have to get a hotel, and there's forced proximity. And those are all my indie book recs that I have for you guys today. If you want more like independent or Kindle Unlimited book recs, just let me know. I read so many books on Kindle Unlimited, so I have a lot. But I just wanted to give you guys some specific like romance trope recommendations for today. If you read any of these, let me know. Let me know your thoughts. I hope you have fun with them. All of them are just very fun reads. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at heaths.bookclub. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I will see you guys next week.